The last standalone Larchmont realtor no longer stands alone.
More changes to the Village of Larchmont zoning code.
Have you seen the newest town office? We'll give you a peek.
How you can join MHS students for a cause.
And it's no trick, but it is a treat. Stay tuned for a roundup of local Halloween events. Those stories and more coming up on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehem.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Our top story. It's been quiet for a while, but the Village of Mamaroneck police battles rage on. A New York Supreme Court decision allows the former Mamaroneck police to continue their lawsuit for reinstatement and back pay. Former village officers Don DiCicchio, Paul Michelizzi, and Jeremy Skihan, along with former Sergeant Peter Monacelli, argue that the decision dismissing them in the disciplinary hearings should be nullified because the village improperly delegated authority to an outside hearing officer, retired New York Supreme Court Justice James R. Cowie. The village trustees contend that it was necessary to hire Justice Cowie because they were being sued in federal court and couldn't be impartial. If the former police are successful, the village police department could be forced to start the disciplinary proceedings all over again. According to the Journal News, the village already has spent nearly $500,000 on police disciplinary issues.
Burbank Whittemore, the last independent real estate agent in our area, has now been sold to Julia B. Fee Real Estate. Burbank Whittemore is still family owned and has been a local Larchmont residential real estate firm since 1935. Burbank Whittemore's office is located at the intersection of Boston Post Road and Beach Avenue. The office of Julia B. Fee in our area is at 1946 Palmer Avenue. Both offices will be kept. Julia B. Fee has 6 offices in other Westchester locations. It was started in 1960 in Scarsdale. Julia B. Fee has had sales of more than $1 billion in each of the past 4 years. For the last 16 years, Burbank Whittemore is said to have led home sales in the Larchmont Mamaroneck School District.
Recent home renovations in the Willow Cane Avenue area of Larchmont Manor brought many residents to a recent village board meeting. They were there to support a proposal that would require Planning Commission oversight and neighborhood notification on projects that demolish 20% or add 250 square feet to a home. Current regulations require oversight when 50% of a home is knocked down. These changes were brought on by concerns and complaints about construction at 96 Willow Avenue, which neighbors contend was virtually a teardown, and whose developer also owns the property next door.
Some of the veterans living in Westchester County will get a bit of a property tax break under a plan that the Westchester Board of Legislators approved recently. The board increased the maximum property value that qualifies veterans for a tax-exempt claim of county property tax. The current cap is $27,000. It will go up to $54,000. The veterans who served during the war get a 15% exemption on the property value up to $54,000. For veterans who served in a combat zone, an additional 10% exemption is on the books, currently kept at $18,000, and it will go up to $36,000. Veterans who suffered a service-related disability will see a doubling of an additional exemption to $180,000.
On June 12th through the 18th of 2006, golf's legendary U.S. Open tournament comes to Mamaroneck's own Winged Foot Golf Club. The town is already working on parking, transportation, safety, and other issues, but they have a reminder for anyone hoping to make a bit of cash by renting out their home for the event. Be aware that renting for commercial purposes, like corporate hospitality suites, besides annoying your neighbors, could also run afoul of the zoning code, section 240-21, which forbids rental of one and two family dwellings for commercial endeavors, with the exception of a home office. Violators are subject to fines, and the building inspector has authority to shut down the event. The building department did confirm that renting your home to a golfer or to someone else for personal use should be okay. You can get more information at the town website or call the building department at 381-7830. Ready to ride the rails or waves? Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel takes us to the opening of a new store in Larchmont.
Okay, welcome to Reef Road, the newest store opening in Larchmont. Come on, let's talk to some people and find out more. Hey, Fred.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you today?
Doing very well, thank you.
This is awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Everything we thought it was going to be.
Well, it looks fantastic in here. We've been looking around. What are some of the great things that have been happening already?
Well, we've just had a great turnout from everybody in town. Tons of kids, lots of activity, lots of action, skateboarding, videos are going. Everybody's showing a ton of support, exactly what we wanted. And we're real enthusiastic. I think we're going to meet a demand that is out there.
I think this is terrific. We're going to look around and we're going to check out some skateboards.
Great.
We'll talk to you later.
Let us know.
Well, I'll be right back with you later. Okay, now I'm here with
GC.
GC. I had to get that one straight.
Yeah, nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Great.
So I understand you're the resident expert here, huh? Tell us a little bit about what you know best.
Well, I've been skating and snowboarding for about 19 years. I grew up in this town, and I'm managing the store here for the skateboard and snowboard half of the world.
Wow, cool. What are you holding here?
I'm holding a Sector 9 mini longboard. It's pretty cool. Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you. And everybody who wants to come in and find out more, just ask for this guy,
Yeah.
GC.
Yeah, GC.
GC. Oh, Jake, here we are in the store, finally opened. How do you feel?
It feels really good. We finally got the store open after the past couple weeks really pushing hard, and we've been working really late, and we finally were able to get it open.
Hey, we'd love to see a little demonstration. Can you do some skateboarding for us outside?
Sure.
Okay, let's go. Awesome, guys. Well, Fred, this has been a great experience. I just saw things that I haven't seen before, and I'm learning a lot about it, and the kids seem to be having a great time. Thank you so much for bringing this to our area.
Thanks for coming down, and it's a place for kids, adults, for everyone. Anytime you get a chance, come on by. Everyone's welcome. 126 Larchmont Avenue on the corner of Post Road and Larchmont Avenue.
126 on the corner of Post Road and Larchmont Avenue. Come on down. It's a lot of fun. There's great things to look at. It's awesome.
It's about safety and fun, right?
Well, I'm having fun, and I feel really safe. How's that? Terrific. Thank you so much. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
And if you prefer the old-fashioned ice, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray previews the new skating season at Harmock's Rink.
Can winter be far behind? The Harmock's Ice Rink is open. On Friday nights from 7:15 through 9:15 p.m., there will be skating to music with coordinated lighting. This new event is called Cosmic Public Skate Night. The Youth Recreational Skating and Learn to Skate program will continue again. For more information on charter or ice rentals or any other question you might have, please call 834-3164. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray introduces you to some locals trying to help victims of Hurricane Katrina.
Well, we have 4 lovely ladies here today who are going to tell us about some wonderful things that are happening in our wonderful town of Mamaroneck. Carol, you start us off.
Well, school started about 6 weeks ago, and when the kids started to filter back into the building, a lot of them were very disturbed by what they saw in the news with Hurricane Katrina and the devastation that came into our living rooms. And I think kids were really looking for a way to help. Rather than having them all sort of spin off in their own little satellites, we as a student council decided to create a carnival where they could all contribute in their own way, and our efforts together would really be meaningful.
Well, maybe you should introduce yourself completely.
I'm Carol Scheffler. I'm the brand new coordinator of student affairs at Mamaroneck High School.
And I'm thinking that this young lady is a member of your committee.
She is indeed, Katie Howard.
Hi, Katie. And what are you doing for the program?
I'm part of student council, and we're basically running the show. And
what will you be doing?
It's a big carnival, and it's on
October 28th, the Friday before Halloween, and from 4 to when it gets dark, and then there'll be a concert after that.
Oh, but Carnival for me means lots of lights and entertainment and food and things. Is your Carnival going to be like that?
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of booths, and student council is running, we're having a jumping castle, and there's gonna be a couple clubs are doing different things, and the club MSCS, Mamaroneck Students Community Service, is doing a pie eating contest.
A pie eating contest?
Yeah. We actually have a record number of clubs participating in this carnival, over 30 clubs, which I think is the biggest collaboration we've ever had at Mamaroneck High School, especially since students are participating, and faculty, and the PTSA, and even staff is supporting us in many different ways. So this is one gigantic effort put out by the entire community of Mamaroneck High School.
Oh, fine, fine. Sounds wonderful. I like the idea of the total public being a part of it. And we don't want to leave you out in the background, ladies. What do you see as your role in this?
Well, actually, I've organized the concert for Katrina, which is called Rocktoberfest, and all the monies raised from both carnival and concert will go directly to housing for Gulf Coast hurricane victims.
And who will be building these houses?
Actually, volunteers who are involved with Habitat for Humanity in Westchester.
Oh, that's the President Carter's thing?
Yes, it is
Habitat
actually.
for
Yes, he was
Humanity.
involved with it. Yes.
Yes. Oh, wonderful organization. And the lady over here with the gorgeous suntan.
My involvement is that my whole family's in Louisiana, so I have a lot of the inside workings of what's been going on firsthand, and able to give a lot of feedback and information.
Are they in New Orleans?
Yes, all over Louisiana, the entire state.
Oh, the entire state?
Yes, yes.
And what we see on television, is that reality?
I think it's probably worse than what we say. Yeah.
So we're going to need the money to build
Absolutely.
all of these houses.
Absolutely. This is a wonderful, wonderful cause, and you know, it can't be forgotten in a month or two. It's going to take a long time to rebuild the state of Louisiana and the Gulf Coast. It's not going to be done in 6 months or a year.
Right. Will some of the money go to build houses in, well, you wouldn't know perhaps, Alabama and Mississippi?
Well, actually, some of the money is earmarked for a Katrina house, which is being built in Yonkers for a family that's relocating from Louisiana after having lost everything.
Right, right. Well, I'm so glad you ladies came in to tell us about this wonderful event, the Friday before Halloween at the high school.
At the baseball field.
At the baseball field from 4 to...
When it gets dark, and you can come watch your teachers play baseball, which is something you don't get to see every day.
Well, thank you for coming. And should I say bring your pocketbooks with you?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and are checks acceptable?
Well, we're going to go for cash.
Cash. It's always a good thing. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Here is a special guest to tell about a special weekend at St. John and Paul Church. Is Large Mamaroneck community news reporter Wendy Deschaise.
Hey, Father Brian, thank you for coming into our humble little abode here.
Thank you for the invitation.
You're welcome. So we are here to talk about St. John and Paul's festivities coming up for Halloween.
Yes.
The Hallow Weekend, I believe you call it.
That's correct.
You need to tell me about this bazaar.
Well, it's a combination of events because our purpose is twofold. The first was to obviously gain some funds for the parish's ministries, for the young and for the old. But also, we felt that we wanted to make a positive contribution to the Larchmont Mamaroneck community by bringing all ages and people of all different experiences together. We, on Saturday morning, are going to have a 5K run.
Are you running in this?
No, I'm part of the zombie class.
Okay.
The zombie class pays $25 for which they receive a T-shirt and they can sleep in.
Okay. Hey, that sounds like the class I'm going to be
Oh
in.
yeah, it's great.
And what does the winner get of 5K run?
We have different prizes that we have received from many of the local merchants, for which we are very, very grateful. And the prizes are still coming in, so I really can't comment on any particular one. I know the teenagers at their dance the night before are looking forward to winning an iPod at the dance. So it's, and then at the same time that the 5K is running, we're going to have some little pumpkin patch for the little ones. And I don't know how he did it, but he invited Father Papacello, who is more or less running this whole operation. He invited a scarecrow to have pictures taken.
Oh, you're kidding.
So we'll have pictures with the little children. And then on Saturday evening, we have a movie, a family movie, where people are going to be invited to bring their lawn chairs, their blankets, and we're going to have frankfurters and popcorn, like an old-fashioned drive-in without the car.
That sounds lovely. Is this the first year that St. John and Paul has put this on?
I would say it's not the first year we've had a fundraiser, but it is the first year that we said, let's focus on building community. And so we're bringing those two goals together. And Hallow Weekend is always a great weekend for young people. And for us as Christians, of course, the word hallow means holy.
Right.
And so Halloween was always the eve of All Saints' Day. So it's a wonderful opportunity for the whole parish to get together with the whole community and make some money and have a great deal of fun.
It sounds like a great deal of fun. I'm actually going to be there on Sunday evening. I'll be checking out your cabaret night. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I hope you have a ticket, because unfortunately we are
sold
out.
I think I'm special.
For the Great Pumpkin, Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Imani Carlin tells where you and your Peanuts gang can get one and do good at the same time.
It's almost Halloween, and the St. Thomas Pumpkin Patch is here. It starts Saturday, October 8th, but it runs until Halloween. The St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Mamaroneck is having their 5th annual Community Pumpkin Patch, inviting all families from all over to come out and join the fun. There will be over 2,000 pumpkins there, and think of all the exciting pictures you can take with your family. Together, both St. Thomas Episcopal Church in Mamaroneck and St. John's Episcopal Church in Larchmont will distribute their profit of money to the Navajo Reservation, where the pumpkins are grown, and to the Hurricane Katrina recovery efforts. Within the past 4 years, the pumpkin patches have raised more than a total profit of $30,000. Again, the pumpkin patch is open from 10 a.m. through 5 p.m. and admission is free. Hey, it's fun. You gotta go. From Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Imani Carlin.
If you have ever considered becoming an environmental educator, you are in luck. There will be a 12-session environmental educational program held at the Sheldrake Environmental Center, which is owned by the Village of Larchmont and is managed in cooperation with the town of Mamaroneck. After you complete this course, you will receive a graduation certificate in ecology, and this will allow you to become a volunteer to teach in local schools. There is no fee for this program and is commitment free. However, there is a $35 materials fee. The class begins Thursday morning from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. The class will be taught by Mary Diaz, who is the director of the environmental programs at the Sheldrake Environmental Center and former director of the Conservation for Westchester County Parks. Ms. Diaz said that the program would cover a wide range of subjects, including the existing habitats located on the Sheldrake River trails. Also included on the property, ponding, trees, water, even a trip to the Long Island Sound. For information on becoming an environmental educator, call the Sheldrake Environmental Center at 914-834-4326. That number again 914-834-4326, or stop by the center. It's located on 685 Weaver Street in the town of Mamaroneck. By the way, if you are driving from the village of Mamaroneck and you pass by Bronny Briar Golf Course, you've gone too far. The center is located on the left side of the road just before the club. Reporting for Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Christina Bolger.
Time, and Westchester County has some safety tips to ensure a safe and happy holiday. We all know it's all about the costume, so here are some safety prereqs that should go into each one. First off, make sure costumes are made of flame-resistant materials. Avoid flimsy materials or anything oversized. Of course, our little princesses are given the benefit of the doubt. If your child does have a mask that completes the ensemble, please make sure it fits properly. Eye holes should allow full vision and avoid obstacle problems in the face with face paint. It can be used instead, adding creativity and originality to the costume. Before letting your child out for the night, make sure that they're visible. It helps if costumes are light and bright, but for you grim reapers out there, reflective tape is the way to go. It can be found in most hardware, bike, or sporting goods stores, and of course, flashlights are a must for all. Another precaution you may want to target before your child goes out to fill those bags with sweets is to make sure you fill their bellies with something wholesome and nutritious. This will deter your child from gorging on candies that you haven't had a chance to look over. Warn them ahead of time not to eat self-packaged treats or those with open wrappers. Westchester Community also suggests children to stick close to their own neighborhood. And we haven't forgotten about you candy givers. Please make sure that your lawn is obstacle-free. Please use proper lighting and watch those candles. Hopefully it's all treats and no tricks for this Halloween season. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Wendy Deshay.
Welcome to the Real Estate Corner. Here are some facts and figures about our community of Mamaroneck. There are 32 single-family houses available from $500,000 to $998,000. There are 61 houses available from $999,000 through $14,500,000. There are 18 condos in the $227,000 through $769,000 range. As for co-ops, there are 47 between $125,000 and $469,000. I obtained these numbers from Weichert Realtors in Larchmont. Their number is 833-0800. Remember, these numbers can change on a daily basis. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I am Glenna Gray.
On Halloween, October 31st, you can trick or treat live on TV. Join LMC-TV from 4 to 7 p.m. in costume in this studio in the Mamaroneck High School, Palmer Avenue side. Sorry, adults, it's only for kids in kindergarten through 8th grade.
I know that bums you out.
I guess so.
What are you going to do?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, dear Maura. Happy birthday to you.
Oh my goodness.
So now we're on.
Is that Barbie?
As wonderful as it is.
I appreciate everything everyone else is doing as well.
Many, many more. Many more.
Thank you.
It would be the same without you. Joy, it's fat-free, calorie-free.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. In a perfect world.
In a perfect world, exactly. Do we have to close the show?
I think you do.
Okay. But we're going to do
Hello and welcome to a special election edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
That's right. Tonight's edition is devoted to the elections coming up in the village of Mamaroneck for mayor and for trustee.
And we had the opportunity to talk to the candidates and ask them pretty much the same questions.
The only thing that really differed were their answers and the follow-up questions dictated by their answers. So we begin with Elizabeth Sanger. Take a look and enjoy. I'm joined by Elizabeth Sanger, the Democratic candidate for trustee in the Village of Mamaroneck. Elizabeth has been a ethics teacher for most of her adult career and a community volunteer in many different areas in Mamaroneck locally. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And let's get right to it. What do you see as the most important issues facing the Village of Mamaroneck? And what would you do to tackle them?
Well, I'm concerned about open, accessible, accountable government in Mamaroneck. I think all the meetings of important boards, zoning board, Board of Appeals, as well as, of course, the Board of Trustees meetings should be televised, and people should know what's happening in their village. I think there's a great danger when things happen kind of behind closed doors and people don't understand what's going on.
What qualifications or qualities do you possess that make you the right person for this position?
Well, first is just my passion for this village. I love Mamaroneck so much and care about it so much. I've thought deeply about issues of ethics since I've taught ethics for 22 years. I've also been a social studies teacher and thought deeply about issues of ethics in government. And I think I have a lot to bring to the village in that way. I also know the village pretty well and know a lot of people here, and I have a record of innovation and a record of bringing people together, all different kinds of people.
And you've been a resident for a long time.
33 years, yeah, and I plan to live here the rest of my life. I love this village.
Well, looking back over the last couple of years, is there anything that you might or would have done differently had you been in office?
Well, certainly. For one thing, I don't think we've handled the business with the sewers well at all. I think that we should look into illegal hookups. We should get the aid of the county. I think this last rainfall, it was a disaster.
And does that affects the quality of the water at Harbor Island?
Absolutely. I live 300 feet from Harbor Island on Hall Street. But I know that we don't have any problems at my house, but I know that in Harbor Heights, on Frank Avenue, in Rushmore, there's a lot of terrible sewage backup. I don't think that's been handled well at all. I don't think the open government issues, I think that I'm alarmed, and the real thing that got me into running was all of our hundreds of thousands of taxpayer money is going to the same 3 attorneys who are very closely connected with the people in power.
How long have they been the attorneys?
As long as the people in power have been in power, they have been getting all the contracts. There's no incentive. You know, it's sort of like if they lose, they win. If they win, they win. Either way, the village loses. We keep losing because we're losing hundreds and hundreds of all of our discretionary money is going into the pockets.
How would you fix that?
Well, for one thing, Tom Murphy, who I think has done a wonderful job, has one suggestion that I think should be explored, which is to have an in-house attorney who would be on salary and would help us avoid these terrible lawsuits that take all of the village money. I think that's one suggestion that we could explore. I also think we should just have fewer close connections. Everyone should be treated the same. I think that's really important. I could go into that in some detail, but I know we have the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you, what importance do you think party affiliation plays in this election? And if elected, how will you work with people of the opposite party?
You know, my dear brother in Texas is a very devout Republican. We talk about these things a lot. Lots of Republicans are voting for me and for Bob Kelly. And so in some ways, I don't think party matters so much. However, I think that Tom Murphy has done a wonderful job, and I would be very proud together with Bob Kelly to try to help him move towards the kinds of open government measures that he has advocated.
Okay. I want to ask you now about 3, if we're lucky, 4 substantive issues. What's your position on the Rye Town assessment and the effect on the Rye Neck residents? And what would you do?
Yeah, I think I very strongly support having an independent, disinterested study. Several times the people have talked about doing it in-house. I think that would be a disaster. I think use the McCallion Institute at Pace to give us the answers. And If it lowers our taxes and improves our services, then we should think about what would work the best. It's very complicated. It's incredibly complicated. I was here in the 70s when we tried to secede, and it was a huge expense and a total failure. So I'm a little wary of that. I also think that the assessment, I've written to the County Board of Legislators about this, assessment is really a county-wide issue. It's been in Rye Town and Pelham are two places that have done it. Other places have done assessments and seen their tax rates go down instead of up. I mean, it's because it's such a crazy mishmash, the whole county. So I think it's a countywide problem. I think that we ought to work with Michaelian to get an independent study before we do anything. And I think we ought to proceed carefully and prudently.
And the Michaelian Institute study, have they been retained to your knowledge at this point?
Nothing has happened that I know of. There's been talk about it, but we're not moving on it. And I think we should move on it because everything we do is going to take a lot of time, you know, and you know, you have to be thinking way ahead. But if we do something now, we might have some effects in 2 or 3 years, but we haven't done anything.
Next question, day laborers.
Yeah.
What do you think should be done, you know?
Yeah, I get very concerned about that because I get concerned when they're spoken about as a them instead of us, you know. I think the contractors have to, you know, everybody uses day laborers, all kinds of people. The contractors need to be served. The day laborers are just people looking for work. And the community also needs to be served. So you have 3 interests there, and I think we could have we could find a good site.
You're happy or not happy with the current?
I'm not happy because nothing is being done. The issue is just being hidden and pretended to be solved, but it hasn't been solved. The only thing they've done is put a police officer there.
Very quickly, we're not going to get to our last subject. Is there anything else that you want voters to know?
Well, I can talk about, I'm an extremely hard worker. I'm full of enthusiasm, and I have no particular vested interest in any issue here except what's good for the people and the community of this village I love so much.
And thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
I'm joined by Bob Kelly, the Democratic candidate for mayor in the village of Mamaroneck. Bob has been with the Mount Vernon Police Force for his entire adult career, and he's also served on the Rye School Board, both as president and a trustee. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
And let's get straight into it. What do you see as the most important issues facing the village of Mamaroneck, and how would you tackle them?
I think one of the most important issues is fairness and accountability in the village. I think anyone who's lived here for any period of time recognizes that. And it really is the foundation upon which you have to build everything else. I think there is inequity in how we govern here. I think there is not a level playing field for all people. And what I would like to see village government return to is a place where it doesn't matter, quite frankly, who you are, what you do, or who you know. I think everyone should be treated fairly and equally, and that's really the foundation upon which you're going to build everything else, because if you don't have that foundation in place, there's nothing that you can build upon.
What qualities or qualifications do you have that make you the right person for this job?
Well, I think I have some very unique qualifications. I've served for the last 23 years with the City of Mount Vernon Police Department. I currently hold the rank of captain. I have served in command positions in the Detective Division, the Narcotics Unit, the Homicide Unit, and the Patrol Division. I have been personally involved with more than 100 homicide cases. I've been personally involved with more than 1,000 narcotic arrests, and I've probably seen more things than most people can even imagine. In addition to that, I've worked with state, local, and federal law enforcement authorities. I have written grants. I have administered the grants as well, too. For the last 7 years, I've been involved with the Rye School Board as a trustee, and the last 2 years as its president. In Rye we have a budget that's bigger than the village's, and we employ more employees than does the village as well, too. And I think collectively, the breadth of that experience will lend itself well to the needs of our village.
Looking back over the last couple of years, if you'd been in office, are there things that you would have done differently? What are they?
Well, I think 20/20 hindsight is great, and I think everybody can say that as well, too. I think there's some fundamental things that probably should not have occurred. And what does concern me in particular is that we are indebting ourselves for hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars for ongoing litigation. Specifically with the police disciplinaries, there's over $450,000 that has been dedicated to that. And we are facing a federal trial. And I'm sure, as you know, that if we go to trial and we lose, we have exposure to liability there as well, too. And you should know as well, too, that if we lose, we're liable for paying their attorney fees. Now, the mayor has said on one occasion that our insurance carrier will cover us for that, and that's just not correct. Our insurance carrier has said to us, if we lose, they will not cover our expenses. So you are looking down the road now at significant expenses possibly being incurred by this village as a consequence of probably some poor decision making that was made. And I'm not going to pretend to know all the details of that particular incident, but I think what is important to know is that Judge Bryan, a federal judge who reviewed this case as recently as April of this year, said that the village failed to exercise its due diligence. He said he didn't believe the representations that the village made to the court, and he said that the village acted as a rubber stamp for the police chief. Essentially, he said, you didn't do your job, I don't believe you. You know what? Now we're in trouble as village residents.
Okay, well, what role do you think that party affiliation plays in this election? And if elected, how will you work with members of the opposite party?
I don't think party affiliation should play any role at all. We have party affiliations because that's how the process is established, but on a local level as we are here, we are all neighbors, we're friends, we're relatives, and if we're not any of the three, we know someone who is. The degrees of separation as a village are very small, and quite frankly, you know, whether I am playing basketball with a neighbor of mine, it quite doesn't make a difference what his party affiliation is. I think we all have the same interests at heart here, and it's really just a question of how we govern.
Okay, let's do a couple of substantive issues.
Sure.
What is your position on the Rye Town assessment and the effect on Rye-Neck residents, of which you are one?
Well, the impact upon me is my taxes have gone up twice since revaluation. And it's interesting that this issue has been so politicized, and I guess we should expect that in politics. And it's unfortunate, though, because for the longest time, I don't know that the rest of the village, certainly the village officials, none of whom who live in Rye-Neck, even recognize that Rye-Neck was part of the larger village there. But the impact is something we're going to live with immediately. What we should do is go ahead with the PACE law study. I think we all agree on that seems to be a prudent and pragmatic approach to this. And there's also one other venue that hasn't been explored or spoken to, at least by the mayor, and that is that seeking some relief on a county level. Because quite frankly, with revaluation, our village taxes have remained the same. There's no changes. Our school taxes, well, I should say the school district does not collect 1 penny more or 1 penny less as a consequence of revaluation. It's our county taxes that have gone up exponentially. And what we should do is seek some relief from our county legislatures. We have already done that, written a letter seeking that if they can in fact create a county-wide equalization rate and make it a level playing field until the rest of the county catches up to where we are.
Okay. Let's talk about the day laborer situation. What's your position about that and what's been going on?
Well, let me just explain what I think is not accurate, and I don't think it's been resolved. I don't think it's been solved at all, and I'm even offended by the approach that the mayor has taken with this. What he has done is he has characterized this as a whole bunch of lawless people out there and assigned a police officer there to basically push them away. Pushing them away, hiding them is not resolving the problem. It's not solving the problem at all. He is offending our sensibilities and our good judgment to believe that it's been corrected when, quite frankly, it's just been hidden to the back of the parking areas as well, too.
But there is still a site, and there are, as I understand it, about 30 people who show up every day looking for work.
Well, there's not a site. There's a place where they show up, and it's the obligation of this village to come up with an acceptable remedy that's going to be acceptable to village residents and to the day laborers as well, too. And I don't think that has been done, and I certainly am completely supportive of any effort to come up with a genuine and authentic remedy for this issue.
Okay, we have about 30 seconds left. Is there anything else you want voters to know about you or the issues?
Well, I think there's a host of things that people can know about issues, and they can know about myself individually. But I do think what it comes down to is not so much party affiliation as we spoke to, it's about how we govern and the people that you have forward to govern for you. I think that I am honest, I'm direct, and I am a take care of business kind of guy. That has been the nature of my work, and that is something I hope to be able to extend to the village.
Okay. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Talking to Phil Trefaletti, the mayor of the village of Mamaroneck. You've been mayor for 2 terms, seeking a 3rd term, and before becoming mayor of the village, you were a trustee for 1 term.
That's correct.
So what do you see as the most important issues facing the village of Mamaroneck?
Well, I think one of the most important issues facing the village, of course, is taxes and the affordability of living here in the village. And we've done a lot of work over the last 4 years with taxes. We've had the 3 smallest tax increases in the county over the last 3 years. This past year was only 4.4%. And from a fiscal standpoint, we've grown the budget in our village to its all-time high. It's never been this high. It's around $2.3 million. And I'm very proud of everyone who's been associated with that process. We've increased our revenues, and we've really kept a tight rein on our expenses.
And for the future, how do you want to tackle increasing taxes or potentially increasing taxes?
Well, I think with the large surplus that we have, if we keep on increasing like our revenues like we've been doing, we've been very creative there, and continue to monitor our expense with the large surplus that we have, the 2.3 million, I think we can keep tax increases in the future to the bare minimum, and that's what we're going to push for, and everybody's working toward that goal.
And in that context, what is your position on the Rhine-Neck town tax assessment?
The reval.
The reval.
Well, the reval was it's a disaster in the Rhine-Neck area. It's been a burden on the taxpayers there, especially from the county tax standpoint. We were against the reval from the beginning. We wanted to see the reval being done on a county-wide basis instead of by the town of Rye, just for that municipality. And right now we're in the process of trying to get relief for the residents in Rhine-Neck. We're working very hard with Pace University to either annex Rhine-Neck to the town of Mamaroneck, to do a coterminus, which means the village of Mamaroneck will become a town village like Harrison, or try and reverse the reval, or since Rhine-Neck is not contiguous with Rye Town, we're looking at the law to see if we can just say, hey, Rhine-Neck is not part of Rye Town at all because it's not contiguous, and possibly just reverse the reval and put the Rhine-Neck residents back on our tax rolls, which would give them instant relief.
Is there some kind of time frame on this? Or?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of a lengthy process. Right now we're waiting for some proposals from Pace. We hope to get them within the next 90 days. And then you got to go through voting in different municipalities to make all this happen. And the final vote would come, we're shooting for 2007. By law, that's the year we would have to do it. And so we're going to work very hard. Many residents have come out to help us in support of what we're trying to do. And it's going to be some tough work, but so have all the other projects we've tackled over the last 4 years.
Let's turn more perhaps to personal questions.
Sure.
What qualifications do you think you bring to the office, or qualifies you to be the mayor of Mamaroneck?
Well, I think everyone knows by now that I'm very open, and I'm very approachable, and I'm available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to talk with the residents, to work on their problems. One of the things that I feel most proud of is that we've brought many volunteers in to work with us to solve many problems. Most importantly, I formed the Mayor's Water Quality Committee to work on pollution. And over the last 4 years, all the volunteers that are on that committee have worked with some professionals and with the village employees. And we've managed to get Harbor Island open to swimming. And that's swimming both inside the Gundeboom, and the water right now is safe enough to swim outside the Gundeboom. And so one of the things that I think I bring to the table is the fact that I can bring people together to work. And I don't have an ego, so I use their ideas. They're a lot smarter than me. And I think their ideas, when they come to the table, in fact, make it so that we can solve problems.
And when you look back, is there some issue where you think you should have made a different decision or handled it differently?
Yeah, I can think of one. At the 4th of July, we made a change to the policy of picking up recyclables and garbage, and we thought we had done a good job communicating that, but in fact, many of the residents did not get the word like we thought they had. And I've got many phone calls that I had to explain myself on, and that clearly is one thing. And the lesson there is that you can never over-communicate, and communication is the key to my job or the trustee's job.
Now in Mamaroneck, we also obviously have properties with very high property values, but we also have people who are seeking affordable housing.
Sure.
What's your position there?
Well, I'm very proud of the village of Mamaroneck because right now, with the new project being built in Washingtonville on the corner of Ojai Plains Road and Washington Street, we will have about 206 units of affordable housing, which is probably double the amount of units that the county has asked us to have in our village. And so the village of Mamaroneck has done a tremendous job in making affordable housing available to the residents here in our village. Sometimes the residents in our village don't get the affordable housing. That's one of the things that's hard to deal with. You would want affordable housing in our village only for village residents. That doesn't always happen. But I think what I want to see happen with affordable housing is I want to see our surrounding communities come to the plate and have more affordable housing in the town of Mamaroneck, in Larchmont, and in Harrison. I think we've led the way, and I think those communities have got to put up now and also join us in where we've arrived at from an affordable housing standpoint.
Another issue that has come up again and again, the issue of day laborers, and where they congregate in the morning before they are picked up by potential employers for the day. What's the development there? What are your plans?
Well, as you may or may not know, we had a pretty serious situation down at Columbus Park with the laborers. There was probably about 230 of them that were congregating there, and what we found out was most of them were from out of town. And we were, in fact, were having problems, security problems, and a lot of things going on down there that weren't good for the community. So we started doing a lot of enforcement down there, and the numbers now have dwindled down to about 30 a day, sometimes up to 35. We have an officer down there that maintains control. We have a person who works with the Hispanic Resource Center that works along with the officer, and things down there are working very, very well. And we meet with them monthly.
All right. Well, very good. Thank you very much for coming in and answering our questions.
Thanks a lot.
And good luck in the election.
Thank you.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
You can see this show again. It will play all week. Also, if you want to see it at a time that's convenient for you, you can call our studios at 698-6808. And if you even want more information about the upcoming elections, the League of Women Voters held a debate, and it's being rebroadcast on this channel Tuesday, November 1st at 10 p.m. on Channel 75, Thursday, November 3rd at 10 p.m., and Friday through Sunday, November 4th through 6th at 8 p.m. on Channel 75.
So there are many opportunities to really meet the candidates, to hear about the issue, to find out what's going on.
Exactly. Don't forget, Election Day is November 8th, and you can also join us here that night for election coverage. Don't forget to vote.
And we'll see you again next week.
I'm Maura Carlin.
And I'm Sven.
That's what they do. What does the proposed 2006 town budget mean for your budget?
A tax break for veterans is delayed.
Innovative new legislation for domestic violence victims in Westchester County.
And a new town law you need to know about.
A Larchmonter goes to Broadway and comes home to perform.
And food for thought at Mamaroneck High School. Those stories and more coming up on this edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. Hello, and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Michael Witch.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Our top story. Tentative 2006 budget figures are in for the town of Mamaroneck, and the expected increase is lower than in recent past, 4.6%. This is based on an overall budget of $26,207,000, which is an increase of under $1 million over the 2005 actual budget, or a 3.6% increase. The increase could be even lower if, as in years past, the town council is able to shave off some of the costs. No surprise, one of the expense items driving the costs upward is the cost of energy. Additional funding also went to capital programs and employee benefits. For residents of the villages of Larchmont and Mamaroneck, their share of town and ambulance district taxes will go down. Town residents not in either village will also benefit from these decreases, but it'll be offset by town police, fire, sanitation, and highway services. A public hearing on the budget will be held December 4th.
Veterans looking forward to a higher county property tax exemption in Westchester will have to wait a while. According to the Journal News, county legislators voted recently to increase the caps the law places on qualifying property values. The change is worth an estimated $180 to $300 for each qualifying veteran, said legislator Michael Koplowitz from Somers. He's the chairman of the county's board budget committee. That relief, however, won't be showing up in veterans' bills until 2007, according to a letter mailed to veterans by County Executive Andrew Spano. The reason? Because of the way the tax break is applied to tax bills. The law takes effect in January, but the higher exemption won't be credited to veterans until June, the next time most local assessors adjust their tax rolls. That's too late for the county tax bill for this year, says David Jackson, executive director of the county's tax commission. Legislator Koplowitz said he was unaware of the lag time when the bill was approved by the board. The 15,000 veterans who are already receiving the tax break will not have to reapply to get the higher exemptions. Those who want to apply for the break for the first time should contact their local tax official.
Effective November 5th, Westchester County has a groundbreaking law designed to provide additional protection to victims of domestic violence. I spoke with County Legislator Judy Myers about this law. County Legislator Judy Myers for the 7th District, and you're here to talk about a new law passed in Westchester County that protects victims of domestic violence from discrimination.
Yes.
And I know you're very excited and you supported this, but why don't you first explain to us what's the problem?
It's to protect victims of domestic violence from discrimination in housing and in employment. And the problem is that very often potential employers or landlords will not want to have someone, they won't want to lease to someone who is being stalked, for instance, or harassed. And so they will actually deny either housing or they will deny employment to someone who is actually the victim. So it's a double whammy. And there's actually a term.
How do they know? How do they know? How does a potential landlord know that you're a victim
Well,
of this?
in some cases, you've already been in the apartment, say, or in the home.
And they've seen someone hanging out or they heard the
and
yelling.
Neighbors may have complained. And so perhaps a lease would be whatever it's called, when you re-up your lease would be denied.
Renewal.
A renewal, thank you. It's been a while since I rented. Or a job opportunity, an opportunity to advance is denied because of what comes along very often with domestic violence.
So how does the law protect them?
So what this does, this adds this actually into the human rights law. This is an amendment to the county's human rights law and adds victims of domestic violence into the protected class so that there is an appeal process. There's a way to actually seek help if you are the victim. And if you are being denied employment, fired from a current job, or denied housing, or denied a renewal of a lease.
Now, maybe I'm wrong, but can this protect someone if, they're not paying their rent because their spouse or partner isn't helping them out financially and they don't have the money for rent, or they're not showing up for work?
No, that's not discrimination. So this is where a landlord, and there are many, many anecdotes, and we were presented with many anecdotes from housing advocates about, specifically with regards to housing, where victims of domestic violence are often stalked. Their abusers are often stalking them, harassing them, following them. They'll talk to the neighbors about them. And what this does is it says to the landlord, that alone is not reason for denying a lease to someone. Or there was one case that's pretty outrageous where a landlord, in order to try to get rid of someone, actually hooked up all of the electric boxes to hers. So she was being charged, her Con Ed bill was actually the bill for the entire building. And he was doing it in a way to get rid of her.
That would have been fraud.
And that was,
anyway.
exactly. But
Are
that was
there
a
more
technique.
teeth in this legislation?
And it allows someone who has been the victim to be able to come to file a suit with and be reviewed by the Human Rights Commission.
Now this is
in
sort of
Westchester
groundbreaking
County.
legislation.
Westchester County is the first county in New York State to do this. Absolutely. There are laws that have been proposed. There's legislation that's been written for New York State but has not been approved. New York City has gone towards this, but it has not gone all the way with the housing and the employment. So this is a first.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
The Journal News reports that Lower Hudson Valley commuters got an early holiday present from the Metropolitan Transportation Authority, namely cheaper train, subway, and bus rides from Thanksgiving through December. The MTA Board of Directors, by a 12-2 vote, agreed to give Metro North and Long Island Railroad customers a free 10-trip off-peak pass that will be good for 3 months if they purchase monthly December passes. Passengers who buy weekly passes in December will receive a round-trip off-peak ticket. Subway and bus fares will be reduced from $2 to $1 on weekends, beginning with Thanksgiving through the end of 2005, and the entire last week of the year. The gesture will cost the MTA about $50 million in fares, a fraction of the agency's estimated $1 billion surplus. New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg was among those supporting the reduced fares, saying he would be thrilled to see a discount, particularly at that time of the year. Governor Pataki said $250 million of the surplus should go to projects in Lower Manhattan. The MTA board will likely vote next month on what to do with the remainder of its surplus. In addition to the rail and city mass transit discounts, MetroCard bonuses will be awarded on all cards activated between Thanksgiving and the end of December. For example, the 30-day $76 Metro cards will get 4 additional bonus days. The 7-day $24 Metro cards will get 1 free bonus day. The 7-day $41 Express Bus Metro cards will also get 1 free bonus day. A special $76 Holiday Metro card will be valid from November 23rd through New Year's Day and sold for cash only at token booths. A warning for town property owners. A new law has the town checking illegal sewer hookups. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray has the details.
The town of Mamaroneck has created a new legislation for when a house is transferred from the seller to the buyer. The new rule requires the property owner to obtain a discharge compliance certificate. This certificate states there are no illegal sewer connections on the property. The new law will become effective after January 1, 2006. The law is necessary in order to reduce the problem of storm water infiltration and inflow into the sanitary sewer system. The town and county of Westchester have been working to identify illegal storm water connections. The most common forms of illegal sewer connections are gutters and leaders, driveway drains, and sump pumps. For more information, call the town at 381-7830. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Local businessmen bring back a tasty treat. I met with the new owners of the new and improved No-Cal soda. There's a new diet soda in town, literally in town. Mike Weinstein, a Larchmonter, and his partner Brian O'Byrne have started or restarted No-Cal, and they're here with me. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thank you.
I have to start with, you gave me your business cards, and Brian, it literally says Chief Bottle Washer, and yours is Chief Soda Jerk. Hysterical. And I gather that that's sort of, well, let's go into the history of No-Cal first. You tell me that this was a soda way back when. Fortunately, for once, I can say it was before my time, but doesn't happen much. And you brought it back. It went away for a while, for a long time, and you brought it back.
Went off the market. It started in 1952, the very first sugar-free soft drink made for diabetics, and really started a revolution in the diet world, and followed by Tab and Diet Coke, etc. But they were the first ones, and it went off the market.
And you guys are bringing it back, but you're bringing it back in a different way.
Yeah, we've taken the name, which we've registered and we own. We've
brought some of the flavors back that were there before. And as we say, it's not about bringing back an old brand, it's about bringing back an old feeling. Because we've added fun into the soda. We've got a character, as you see, in each one. We wrote poems.
Yeah, you guys, you got to read the chocolate poem for them.
Here, you read the chocolate poem.
The guy with the glasses. Chocolate soda, what a score. It strikes a taste that you'll adore. We spare the fat so you don't frown. Your pants won't split when you bend down. That's our chocolate poem.
So obviously you're going for humor here. And the feeling, you went to long neck bottles instead of cans. Any reason?
Because I think it's a better taste from a bottle, and it's more prestigious. It looks better. The packaging is great. The flavors are fantastic, and it just fits the brand.
This is completely different formulas than what was
totally,
used in the 50s.
Totally.
And I've heard from our reporters who've been out there drinking the stuff that it tastes great.
Well, you gotta try one.
I certainly will. And you've got chocolate, cherry lime, vanilla cream, and clementine.
Right.
What's your favorite?
Mine is clementine.
And yours, Mike?
I'm a chocolate guy.
You are a chocolate guy.
That's why my pants don't split when I bend down.
I hear the chocolate is great for making an egg cream.
Just a splash of milk, drink it fast, fantastic.
Okay.
And it's absolutely not fattening. You have to remember that.
It really is not.
Really is not fattening. In fact, we say it on the top here.
And we believe everything we read.
Exactly.
It's no calories and no sugar, perfectly safe for diabetics?
Absolutely. It was, as Mike said, it was formed for diabetics initially.
And where can you get it?
All over. Let's see, in Larchmont, we're at Stan's, Bradley's, Larchmont Deli. Where are we in Mamaroneck?
Mamaroneck, we're in the Beverage Mart.
I mean, people can really be almost the first to try this because it's only been around for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we launched it actually 2 weeks ago, so it's real new.
And if they can't find it, they should ask the store owner to bring it in because it's been selling great.
Website?
Yep, www.no-calsoda.com.
Thanks for coming in. Good luck, and I will try that. Let's clementine.
Yeah, try the clementine.
And you know what? All the skateboarders in Larchmont love this drink.
Oh, that is good.
We weren't
It's
kidding.
not, it's not too sweet.
You thought I was kidding you.
No, I didn't think you were kidding.
Here with the Real Estate Corner is Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Welcome to the Real Estate Corner. The Forest City Residence Project continues to move along. The developers have decided to change from rental units to condominium ownership. This change will reduce the number of units from 159 to 135. However, there will still be 9 units for affordable salaries, which varies, of course, in Westchester. The development will be at Madison Avenue and I-95. A new parking deck will have 70 spaces. The application for Forest City Residential Company will be reviewed by the Town Planning Board, Coastal Zone Management Commission, Board of Architectural Review, and the Traffic Committee. You can check out the meeting dates of the board or commission at www.townofmamaroneck.org. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
A school cafeteria no more. Mamaroneck High School now has its cafe. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Imani A. Carrison takes us inside.
Do you like the new lunchroom, and do you think that more kids have come to it since it is open?
I love the new lunchroom. It's a beautiful place, and more kids have definitely come. Our business has increased like 3 times.
Really? So you feel that it's a more diverse amount of kids, like all cultures are now coming together and sitting down eating?
Definitely.
And the food is good. What's your favorite meal to eat when you come here? Salad. Salad. All right. What do you think of the new lunchroom?
I love it. I think a lot more kids are hanging out in this concourse, taking advantage of course, the good food, the nutritious food.
Yeah.
And I hope more kids use it. I hope we can get more seating. If more kids decide that they want to use it, we will definitely put more seating. I think more kids are hanging out in different groups, different cliques. I think are coming together since now everybody can be seen in one location. And it just gives everybody to become one community.
And you're new at MHS this year. This is your first year here.
Yes.
What do you think of it so far? Are you enjoying the school?
Enjoying the school,
liking it?
great students, staff, the community. Really enjoying the technology that you have in the building. How motivated students are. You guys are definitely striving for excellence, and I really enjoy it. And everybody's been very pleasant to me, and I hope to get to know more students.
Thank you, Mr. Washington. Have a nice day. So as you can see, we have went to the cafe. We've asked a student, a lunch lady, and the assistant principal, and we got everyone pleased. So I'm glad that everyone likes it.
It's party time for the Hispanic Resource Center. Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amy Schachtel tells how you can dance the night away.
Circle this date, Thursday, November 17th. There's going to be a terrific event at Orienta Beach Club right here in Mamaroneck. The Hispanic Resource Center is very proud to honor 5 important members of our community. Mayor Timothy C. Idoni of New Rochelle, former Mayor John Perillo of Ossining, State Senator Susie Oppenheimer, Reverend Deborah Tamaro of St. Thomas Church, and County Legislator Judy Myers. These 5 individuals have all been extremely instrumental in creating, contributing, organizing, and helping to fund classes, workshops, and opportunities for our local amigos and vecinos. That's friends and neighbors. There is so much that our community has to offer, and these dedicated people truly deserve the reward, recognition, and respect, and thanks for what they've done. The chairman of this gala event and fundraiser is Mariana Beneo-Lavoff. Mrs. Lavoff has put together a fiesta called Rum and Rumba. So remember the date, time, and place. Thursday, November 17th at the Orienta Beach Club from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. The fun, the rum, the fiesta, and the well-deserved awards will make this a great occasion, and you can join them and help the Hispanic Resource Center. Just buy a ticket by calling 835-1512 or sending a check, or just coming by the door. You can buy a ticket. The cost is $85. The Music, Rum, and Rumba Fiesta will be a fantastic event. Felicitaciones, continúen la buena obra. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amy Schachtel.
And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can. Call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter, or maybe you'd like to shoot some video. Whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School building, Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's Hot Dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we'd love to see you here.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Mike Witch.
And I'm Maura Carlin. We'll see you next week. Local election results are in, and we've got the details.
A first peek at next year's school budget for Mamaroneck.
Locals react to the violence in France.
How you can follow the yellow brick road.
A sleepover at the library?
And who won the BMW? Hello and welcome to Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven Oehem.
And I'm Maura Carlin. Our top story. Village of Mamaroneck voters gave Mayor Phil Trifoletti and Trustee Bill Panessa 2 more years. The incumbent Republicans held off Democratic challengers Robert Kelly and Elizabeth Sanger. The unofficial vote tally with all districts reporting had Trifoletti trumping Kelly 58 to 42%, and Panessa defeating Sanger by a 54 to 46% margin, with voter turnout of about 36%. This victory maintains the Republican control of the village board with a 4-to-1 majority, with trustee Tom Murphy serving as the sole Democrat. Elections in the town of Mamaroneck were far less contentious, as candidates for supervisor and 2 council seats ran unopposed. Supervisor Valerie Moore O'Keefe remains at the helm as the sole Republican, with council members Eddie Oderna and Nancy Seligson also keeping their positions. And incumbent county legislator Judy Myers held her seat, handily beating Republican challenger Donald March by a 63 to 37% victory. Myers, you may recall, earned her seat for the 7th District in a special election last February after predecessor George Latimer was elected to the New York State Assembly.
For the last 2 weeks, we've heard about riots in the suburbs of Paris and other French cities. As you well know, we have a large French community living in Larchmont and Mamaroneck. We spoke with George Leclerc, who is from France and has been living in our community for many years. George, for weeks we've been watching on television the burning cars in France, in the suburbs, and actually we can watch it here on LMC-TV because the French news program is on every night at 9, I believe. But what I'd like to know is, what is the reaction of the large French community that lives here in Larchmont and Mamaroneck?
Well, I think first, like me, we didn't understand what's going on. Riot here, riot there. We had this all the time, not all the time, but rather frequently. And all of a sudden, you had 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, 8 days. Then people said, that's not normal. What are they doing in France? And you had two major questions. One is, who are those guys who burn cars, who riot? And second, why is the government doing nothing? And you have an answer for both things now. We know that the rioters are underprivileged kids, very young sometimes. Some were 12 years old when they were arrested, rarely above 20, obeying nobody. Nobody organizes those riots. It's just spontaneous. They attack symbols, cars, because rich people have cars, we don't. State symbols, a school, a library, something like this. So you begin to understand. Second question, why is the government doing nothing? I think it was rather simple. In the beginning, we have a big preparation of the 2007 elections, and you have 2 major powers in France who try to compete against each other. Nicolas Sarkozy, the head of police, Minister of Interior, and Dominique de Villepin, Prime Minister. In the beginning, it looked like they were neutralizing each other and not allowing the other one to take a decision. Sarkozy started very strongly, as he usually does, saying those rioters are scums. Rioters were insulted. Well, when you riot, you can be insulted. But but it created a confusion, and Nicolas Sarkozy stopped a little bit, and I think the police was not knowing what to do, where to go. And that created this sensation, this feeling that nothing was done. So after 10 days, really it was too much. The President of the Republic, Jacques Chirac, stepped in mildly. And it looked like he was supporting Dominique de Villepin, his Dauphin. Dauphin is the heir, presumed heir. And then you started to have real measures, like more policemen, curfew. the curfew that was criticized by many people because it looked like it was the 1955 law that was made against the Algerian war. And here the kids that were rioting had nothing to do with religion. It was not Muslim against Christian, nothing to do. Really underprivileged kids without a job, not at all religious demonstrations.
Right.
So after that, 3 days ago, at the date we're speaking, the number of riots went down slowly. The number of cars burned every night went down. I think the Sunday we had like 1,500 cars burned in one night. I wonder what the insurance company is saying, by the way. And then 700, 600. Last night I read, I'm trying to read a few things, and I saw 400 cars burned. So it's still too much, but it goes down. So that means at least some measures are working.
But the people who are here now from France, are they afraid that something might happen to their relatives over there? Or
Of course. Well, I called my parents immediately, and I'm sure that the AT&Ts of the world got a lot of increase of traffic because we all called to find out. And in small places, it was not very visible. It was really confined. You had very, very few cases where the young rioters went outside of their perimeter to burn cars that were not in their region. And that's strange because, you know, people, they live together, so they burn cars of their neighbors. And that's also something they didn't understand.
now, is the expectation that this will now die down, or is it difficult to tell?
We're not having a crystal ball around here. Yes, it's difficult to tell, but yes, it goes down for two reasons at least. The police is much stronger, and you have measures like, for example, if a young rioter is caught and he is not French, he belongs to another country, now the law will be fully applied to throw him out, send back to this country. So that's a very tough measure that was criticized in the past when it was not well applied.
Right.
So because of that, I think it will go down.
Okay.
But one thing I wanted to say is that at one point 3 days ago, you had Berlin, Brussels, several cities in Belgium and Germany that kind of followed the trend. It stopped. But I think that shows that it can happen anywhere. You should not just blame France. You should not just blame the politic of integration. I think it's a general economic situation where underprivileged kids, they have too much. In French, you say ras-le-bol, you know, it was too much.
I guess it is a topic, and especially looking at the reasons that we could probably talk
endlessly
about for quite
I
some
have
time.
two reasons that, you know, I read everywhere that it looks like the riots in Whites in 72, May 68, and I think you have two major things that are very different from what. Okay, one thing is that we have more and more population on Earth. In 60, we had 2 billion less people. So, you know, animals, when they raised into confined environments, they start to fight. This is playing a part. The second part is the explosion of communications. You know what the rioters were using to get together? SMS messages on their cell phone. That didn't exist before. So it gives them a bigger efficiency, if I can call this efficiency, with a technique that didn't exist before. Those two elements played a role in addition to everything else that we mentioned.
Okay, we have to stop here, but thank you very much for
You're
coming
welcome.
and giving us those insights.
It's still the beginning of the school year, but already the Mamaroneck School Board and the new school's administrators are looking ahead to next year's budget and seeking community input. At a November 1 study session, budget basics were explained and particular areas of concern were discussed. The district's new assistant superintendent for business operations presented the budget and expressed concern over upcoming increases in health and welfare costs, insurance, fuel costs, pension contributions, and unfunded mandates. That is, expenses required but not paid for by federal and state governments for things like administering and scoring standardized tests. One area identified as a potential for cost cutting was contracting services, and they will be looking to see whether using in-house staff instead of outside providers could offer savings. The December 6th study session will focus on the district's next 5-year plan, and the superintendent's 2006-07 budget will be introduced on February 28, or as Paul Freed, the new school superintendent, was quoted in the Larchmont Gazette saying, "The budget is how our instructional program and the hopes and plans for our dreams are translated into dollars."
This year's LMC-TV's Sunny Award fundraiser will take place on Sunday, December 4 at 4 p.m. as part of a cocktail reception which will be held at Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club. The Sunny Award, which was created a couple of years ago and named for Sunny Goldberg, is given to individuals who have made an outstanding contribution to the Larchmont-Mamaroneck community. This year's recipients are the founders of the Larchmont Gazette, Paula Eisenberg and Judy Silverstein. In the age of computers and the internet, they set up a weekly electronic newspaper with the goal of connecting the community. Michael Charles, the current president of LMC-TV, said, "The Gazette is where the town meeting meets the internet and we're all the richer for it." Again, the event takes place on December 4 at 4 p.m. at the Mamaroneck Beach and Yacht Club. For tickets, please call LMC-TV board member Janet Beer at 914-833-3695 or LMC-TV at 381-2002, extension 201.
Business Wizards, here's your chance to help Mamaroneck schools. No, we're not talking about giving more money to the district. The school board has just established a Citizens Financial Advisory Committee to review the district's financial planning and business practices in order to increase the public's understanding of these, as well as to develop recommendations aimed at improving planning and practices. They're looking for up to 7 community members. If you're interested or want an application, you can call Joan Rosen at 220-3070 or check out the district's website at www.mamkschools.org on the district-wide page.
The Magic of Oz is coming to Larchmont-Mamaroneck. Larchmont-Mamaroneck community news reporter Glenna Gray tells us where you can see some local munchkins perform.
Oz comes to the Mamaroneck Avenue School. On Friday, November 18th and Saturday, November 19th, the elementary school will use the version of the 1939 film by Frank Gabrielson. Well over 100 students will participate in this classic story. There will be 2 casts plus a junior company under the direction of Lori Gage and PTA play coordinator Jill Carlin. More than 3 dozen parents volunteered their time, skills, and efforts to help the students achieve success. The parents made sets, costumes, and helped students with their lines. They also installed lights, and they will assist backstage. There will be a live 7-member orchestra. Admission will be $7. Their tickets are available Friday evening at 7 o'clock and Saturday 2 performances, matinee at 2 p.m. and at 7 p.m. Rick Velou, a director and producer of iPops, will create a documentary of the work necessary to produce this spectacular live show. Mr. Velou will probably have 120 hours of film, which will then be edited down to 2 hours, which will be sold, hopefully, to the television network. They will be filmed at work auditions, rehearsals, costume fittings, and at curtain call. 6 of the students' lives will be on and off the stage. That will also be recorded. Mr. Velou sees an analogy between Dorothy's quest to find Oz and her adventure and the Mamaroneck students' quest to succeed in this production. Good luck to all the children, and thanks to the parents. For Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Larchmont-Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray is back with fire safety news.
Smoke alarms, fire alarms, whatever, we need alarms. The Larchmont Fire Department has received a grant of 50 smoke alarms from the New York State Department of Health. In order to be considered for this offer, you must apply, sign a waiver of liability, complete project data information forms. All follow-up visits should be allowed in order to evaluate the presence and functioning of the smoke alarms. The fire department will be the agency installing the alarm. However, this grant may only be used by Larchmont residents. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
And she's back with an update on the local real estate market. Here's Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray.
Welcome to the Real Estate Corner. The statistics for this week in our town of Mamaroneck. Remember what I said, the village of Mamaroneck and the village of Larchmont are located in the town of Mamaroneck. This week there are 79 single-family homes for sale. The prices are from $485,000 to $12,500,000 for single-family homes. Now there are 9 condos available from $248,500 to $769,000. And co-ops, there are 41 co-ops available from $120,000 to $759,500. Remember, these numbers are always changing. I received them from Wycott Realtors in Larchmont. Area code, of course, 914-833-0800. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
Holiday time's coming, and Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Amani A. Carrison tells of a local shopping event.
Hey, you need to come on out to St. John's Episcopal Church's Holiday Bazaar. It's going to be great and loads of fun. There will be unique gift boutiques from local vendors, silent auctions, and a visit from Santa Claus for the little tiny children. This event will be held on November 19th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It is located at 4 Fountain Square. You better be there or be square. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Amani A. Carrison.
Also having a holiday bazaar on November 19th is St. Thomas Church off Boston Post Road at Mount Pleasant Avenue. There'll be a silent auction and lots of goodies for sale. Check out both events. And another shopping resource for Westchester shoppers, just in time for the holidays, westchestershops.com lets you log on and find out what's new and where to get it. Categories include fashion for the whole family, gifts, parties, service, food and wine, house, home, and business services. Imagine you could plan an entire party without even leaving your computer. You can find invitations, caterers, decorations, wine, entertainment, and even, most importantly, cleanup crew. Check out www.westchestershops.com and support your local merchants.
It's just amazing that the holiday season is here already.
I know.
mean, it's just so quickly.
So soon.
Of course, books also make wonderful gifts, and Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News reporter Glenna Gray tells us about a local event to celebrate books.
The week of November 14th through the 20th will be Children's Book Week. The Mamaroneck Library will celebrate this worthy idea by ushering in on Saturday, November 12th, a library sleepover. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th graders are welcome to come at 7 p.m. on Saturday. They will be involved with arts and crafts, projects, storytelling, pizza, and live entertainment. On Sunday, 7 a.m., the event will end. On November 25th at 4 p.m., 3rd through 6th graders will discuss Charlie, your character from Doll's book. For more information, call 698-3751 or go online, www.westchesterlibraries.org. For Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News, I'm Glenna Gray.
And now that we've kept you in suspense, as part of the St. John and Paul Halloween weekend, they held a raffle for a new 2006 BMW from Pace BMW on Boston Post Road in Mamaroneck. The car was awarded on Wednesday, November 2nd to, ready? Wasn't me, Thomas Webler, a parishioner of St. John and Paul since he was 5 years old. He wasn't at the drawing, but fortunately for him, you didn't need to be to win. The car raffle alone helped raise $65,000 for the church. And that's it for this week's. And that's it for this week's edition of Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News.
If you want to see this news show again, you can. It's on every weekday night at 7 p.m. We record one show each week, and it's replayed on this channel, LMC-TV, channel 75.
Or if you want to request to see it, you can call LMC-TV after 4 in the afternoon during the week at 698-6808 and ask to see the news show. They'll try to put it on at a time that's convenient for you to watch.
And this reminder, this news program is an all-volunteer effort, and we could use a few more volunteers, either behind the scenes or as a reporter. Or maybe you'd like to shoot the video. And whatever the case, we need you.
In short, if you want to volunteer to help us put this program on, we have something for you to do. Stop by some Thursday night in the LMC-TV studios and see how we do what we do.
The LMC-TV studios are in the Mamaroneck High School, the Palmer Avenue side, just up the stairs across from the landmark Walter's hot dog stand. We get things started around 7 p.m. and we would love to see you.
Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or some video of an event that you'd like us to put on this news show, bring it to the studio or write to us at Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News in care of LMC-TV, 1 Library Lane, Mamaroneck, New York, 10543.
Thanks again for watching Larchmont Mamaroneck Community News. I'm Sven.
And I'm Maura Carlin. We'll see you next week.